The galactic cruiser Aurora's Grace was one of the most elegant ships ever built by the Andralis Empire. Its long silver body shined like liquid glass as it drifted through the stars on its way to Earth. Inside were 3 princesses of royal blood: Lyra, Kalira, and Sira, daughters of Empress Virilia, rulers of the distant crystal world Andralis Prime. Their mission was diplomatic: to meet the leaders of Earth and form a peace alliance. With them traveled a single human officer from Earth's Space Command, Commander Ryan Cole. He had been assigned as their escort and security advisor. To the human military it was an honor. To the Andralian court it was merely a formality. The sisters thought of humans as primitive creatures, strong but clumsy, brave but unsophisticated. They saw Ryan as a silent bodyguard, nothing more. Ryan didn't mind. He had escorted alien dignitaries before. He preferred quiet work, and the Aurora's Grace was quiet most of the time. Its halls were lined with glowing symbols and floating lights that shifted with the rhythm of the ship's heartbeat. The princesses lived in the upper quarters surrounded by attendants and guards of their own. Ryan stayed near the control center, watching the stars and keeping the ship on course. Everything changed on the 10th day of their journey. The first sign of trouble. At first it was only a sound, a dull hum that faded in and out. Ryan looked at the panel and saw the environmental controls flicker. He frowned, tapped the display, and the temperature reading jumped from 22 to 35 degrees Celsius in seconds. He immediately opened the maintenance screen, rerouting auxiliary power to the cooling system. But the system refused the command. The chief engineer, an elderly Andralian named Taros, appeared on the hololink, his voice uneasy. "Commander Cole, the coolant flow has stopped. Something blocked the plasma regulator. We can't fix it without shutting down the main engines." "Then shut them down," Ryan ordered. "We can't," Taros replied nervously. "We are within the red giant field. The gravity currents could tear us apart if propulsion stops." Ryan's eyes narrowed. "So we either burn or get crushed." "Great." He ran toward the control deck. Already he could feel the air thickening around him. Sweat rolled down his forehead. The walls that once glowed a cool blue were now turning faint orange from the rising heat. Royal panic. By the time Ryan reached the upper decks, the royal quarters were chaos. Servants ran in all directions, fanning the air with glowing sheets that did nothing. The temperature had climbed past 40 degrees. Princess Lyra stood in the center of the chamber, her long silver gown glittering with jewels that reflected the light. Her posture was proud, but her face was pale. "Human!" she called, her voice sharp. "What is happening? Why is our ship cooking us alive?" Ryan stopped a few feet away, saluted, and tried to keep his tone calm. "The air control system failed. The ship's AC, the environmental cooling, that is broken. I'm trying to fix it, but we need to move to the lower maintenance decks before the heat rises further." Princess Kalira, the middle sister, fanned herself with a piece of her gown and looked unimpressed. "We are Andralian royalty. We do not flee like frightened miners." Ryan bit back a reply. "Your Highness, heat doesn't care about rank. The lower decks are cooler. Please follow me." Before they could argue, the youngest sister, Princess Sira, wobbled and clutched her head. It's so hard to breathe," she whispered. Ryan stepped forward and caught her before she collapsed. Her skin was burning to the touch. That was the moment the eldest finally lost her royal calm. "Help her! Do something!" Lyra cried. Ryan lifted the unconscious princess in his arms. "Then listen to me. All of you. Protocols, ranks, dresses, none of that matters right now. Survival does. Follow me now." Descent into the heat. They followed him through the shimmering corridors. The ship groaned as the metal expanded from the temperature. Ryan led them down 2 decks to the engineering bay, where air still circulated faintly. He laid Sira on a metal bench and hurried to open a maintenance locker. Inside he found emergency coolant packs, small blue capsules meant for temporary use. He cracked them open and pressed them against Sira's wrists and neck. She gasped as the cool vapor touched her skin. Lyra knelt beside her sister, fear replacing pride. "Is she going to live?" "She will if we keep her cool," Ryan answered. "But we need to lower everyone's body temperature." He looked up. "You need to remove those outer layers of clothing. They're trapping heat." Kalira's eyes widened. "You dare order royal blood to undress in your presence?" Ryan sighed, wiping sweat from his neck. "Ma'am, I'm not asking you to break your customs. I'm asking you to stay alive. Those ceremonial layers are like ovens. You can keep your inner suits. Just lose the heavy layers. Lyra hesitated, torn between pride and survival. Then she looked at Sierra, still unconscious, and finally nodded. Turn around, Commander. Ryan turned his back immediately, focusing on the control panel. He could hear the rustle of fabric and the sound of armor clasps being opened. Even in crisis, his military discipline stayed firm. When Lyra finally said, "You may turn around," he did, and saw 3 women now dressed in simple underrobes designed for comfort during rest cycles. They looked less like distant nobles and more like ordinary beings fighting for life. The EO struggled to survive for the next hour. Ryan worked non-stop. The temperature hovered near 45 degrees. He rerouted power from weapons to life support, opened ventilation shafts manually, and reprogrammed maintenance drones to fan air through the corridors. The princesses helped as best they could. Lyra, quick-thinking and technical-minded, translated the Andralian schematics for him. Lyra fetched coolant containers from storage. Sierra, once she awoke, followed Ryan quietly, handing him tools when he called for them. At one point, Lyra asked, "Human, why do you not rest? You are drenched in your own fluids, because if I stop, we all roast," he said simply. That made them exchange glances. They were used to servants complaining after 5 minutes of work, not a soldier sweating through hours without pause. When Ryan finally cracked open the coolant regulator housing, a burst of hot vapor hit him in the face. He coughed, waving the steam away. Found the problem. The plasma valve jammed. He slammed his wrench into the lever again and again until the metal gave way with a clang. Cold mist gushed from the pipes. The room filled with the sharp scent of freon gas. Slowly, the temperature reading dropped from 45 to 42, to 40, to 36. The sisters let out a collective breath of relief. Sierra smiled weakly. "You did it, Commander." Ryan shook his head. "Not yet. That's just partial cooling. We need full stabilization before the system restarts." A human's kindness hours passed. The heat eased little by little. Ryan set up small fans powered by auxiliary cells, making the air circulate around the royal group. He gave them water packs from his ration kit. They were surprised when he offered his share first. Lyra accepted the packet carefully. "You would give your water to us?" Ryan shrugged. "You need it more." "Humans are strange," Lyra muttered softly, though her tone lacked mockery this time. Ryan smiled faintly. "You'd be surprised how far we go to keep everyone alive. It's a bad habit." The 3 sisters sat together in silence, watching him work. For the first time, they saw no servant or guard, only a man risking his strength for people who had never respected him. Later that night, when the emergency lights dimmed to save power, Ryan leaned against the wall, exhausted. Lyra approached quietly and placed a folded royal cloak beside him. "Use this to rest," she said. "You have earned more than gratitude." Ryan waved it off. "Thank you, Your Highness, but I'm fine," she frowned. "You humans never accept comfort, do you?" He smiled without opening his eyes. "Only when the mission's done." New respect by morning, the system finally rebooted. Cool air began to flow again through the vents, carrying away the smell of burnt metal. The temperature dropped quickly to a safe level. Everyone in the engineering bay cheered. Ryan stood up, sore and sweaty, but smiling. "We're stable. You're safe now." Sierra ran forward and hugged him before stopping halfway, embarrassed. "Thank you," she whispered instead. Lyra placed her hand on her chest in the Andralian gesture of respect. "You have our gratitude, Commander. No human has ever ordered us before and lived." Ryan laughed softly, glad to be the first. Lyra, still regal but gentler now, stepped closer. "You broke royal protocol, disobeyed my commands, and forced us to abandon tradition." Ryan nodded, bracing for anger. "Yes, Your Highness, yet you saved us. You made us see that titles mean nothing when the stars decide otherwise." She lowered her voice. "We were shocked not by shame, but by you." Her words hung in the air like music. Ryan didn't know what to say. He simply saluted. "Just doing my job, ma'am." A quiet moment. When the crisis ended, the ship drifted peacefully again. The sisters returned to their quarters, but something had changed. They spoke to him directly instead of through aides. They asked questions about Earth, its oceans, mountains, and winds. Ryan noticed how their tone softened each time. The heat had burned away more than discomfort. It had melted the wall between 2 worlds. That night, as he walked the corridors alone, he overheard the sisters talking inside their quarters. "Do you think all humans are like him?" Sierra asked. Not all, Lyra said thoughtfully, but perhaps enough to change how we see them, Kalira added. He made us shed more than clothing. He made us shed arrogance. Ryan smiled quietly and kept walking per. After the heat crisis ended, the royal ship Aurora's Grace floated calmly through open space. Cool air returned to every hull, and the crew finally breathed in relief. Commander Ryan Cole spent hours repairing damaged systems and checking that every line was stable. He was tired but satisfied. For him, it had been only another duty well done. For the Andralian princesses, however, everything had changed. They no longer saw him as a simple escort. He had risked his life, ignored protocol, and even given away his water. Now, wherever Ryan walked, respectful eyes followed him. Princess Lyra, the eldest, became quiet and thoughtful. She had always believed humans were reckless soldiers, but that belief melted away after watching him work all night. Kalira, the middle sister, who used to tease him for his blunt speech, started asking him about human technology. And Sierra, the youngest, shy but curious, followed him like a student, asking endless questions about Earth, its blue skies, animals, and oceans. The air between them was lighter now, almost friendly. Ryan didn't notice the shift right away, but the crew certainly did. Wherever the human commander went, 3 royal figures now seemed to orbit him like protective moons. New bonds on the ship days passed peacefully. The Aurora's Grace glided through a field of colorful nebulas, collecting light that shimmered across its polished hull. The princesses resumed their diplomatic work, but they often visited Ryan in the control bay. He taught them simple things: how to read human star maps, how to use emergency protocols, and how to decode old Earth transmissions. They taught him Andralian customs, the meaning of their hand signs, their respect rituals, and even their songs that mimicked the tones of crystal wind back on their planet. One afternoon, Sierra laughed when Ryan let her hold a small Earth artifact, a metallic compass. It points north always, he explained. Your people use metal to find direction? She said, surprised. Sometimes simple things work best, he replied. Kalira smiled from nearby. Maybe that is why humans survive so much. Simple and stubborn. Lyra, standing behind them, said softly, Stubborn can save lives. Her tone carried memory. Everyone fell silent for a moment, remembering the heat crisis. Before anyone could speak again, an alarm suddenly flashed across the control screens. The ship trembled. Distress call, Commander, the pilot shouted. Incoming signal, unknown source. It's a distress call. Ryan moved fast, scanning the coordinates. A small vessel drifted in nearby space, spinning slowly. Its outer hull was scorched. He adjusted the sensors and frowned. Signal looks real, but the pattern's off. What does that mean? Lyra asked. It could be bait, Ryan said. Pirates sometimes send fake calls to lure ships. Kalira crossed her arms. Pirates dare attack a royal cruiser? They'll attack anything if they smell wealth, Ryan replied. And your ship is a golden target. The crew waited for his decision. Lyra, as mission leader, looked at him. What do you suggest, Commander? He considered. We can't ignore a distress call, but we'll approach carefully. Weapons on standby, shields active. Lyra nodded. Proceed. As Aurora's Grace moved closer, the damaged ship suddenly vanished from radar. At that exact moment, 3 large signals appeared around them. Pirate vessels emerging from cloaking fields. They were waiting for us, shouted the pilot. Ryan cursed under his breath. Raise shields! All power to defense. The ship shook as the first blast hit. Sparks flew from the walls. The calm voyage was over. Battle in the void, the pirates were from the Crimson Tide, a notorious group known for capturing diplomats and selling their technology. Their ships were dark and sharp like knives, moving fast in attack formation. Ryan jumped to the tactical console. Evasive pattern Delta 3. The Andralian pilot obeyed, rolling the cruiser away from the laser fire. Blue energy bolts sliced across the void, exploding near the hull. Inside, the royal sisters clung to their seats. Kalira shouted, We can't take many hits like that. I know, Ryan replied. He scanned the power readouts. Life support and shields were both draining fast. The earlier AC damage had left their systems weaker than usual. The pirates hailed them. A grim voice echoed through the speakers. Surrender the royal passengers or we'll tear your ship apart. Lyra's eyes hardened. Never, Ryan spoke calmly into the mic. This is Commander Cole of Earth's fleet. You're attacking a diplomatic cruiser under interstellar protection. Back off, the pirate laughed. We don't fear human laws, Commander. The transmission cut. Ryan turned to Lyra. Your Highness, we can't outrun them and shields won't last. But I have an idea. The human plan, he pointed to the energy flow diagram. We can use the ship's old heat venting system, the one that almost cooked us last time. Lyra blinked. You want to use the broken AC to fight pirates? Ryan grinned. Exactly. We'll trick them into thinking the ship's engine is exploding. Lyra caught on quickly. You'll make them back off to avoid the blast. Right, but I'll need help in engineering to make it look real, he said. I can't control all systems alone. Without hesitation, the sisters agreed to assist. They had already seen how working together could save lives. In the heart of the ship, they rushed to the engineering bay. The temperature there was still unstable from previous damage. Ryan pulled open a control panel and began rewiring power to the outer vents. Lyra, reroute plasma from auxiliary lines, he ordered. On it, she said, moving fast. Lyra, broadcast a fake distress beacon from our ship. Make it sound like we're overloading. Understood. Sira, stay with me and monitor temperature rise on the main core. Yes, Commander. For 10 tense minutes, they worked like one unit. The sisters' quick minds and Ryan's experience blended perfectly. When everything was ready, Ryan hit the final switch. Outside the ship, bright orange energy flared from the vents. The Aurora's grace began to glow as if about to explode. On the pirate scanners, it looked exactly like a meltdown. Now, Ryan said, we drop a decoy heat signature and kill our lights. Lyra smiled. Brilliant. Ryan pressed the button and Aurora's grace went dark. Only the fake energy pulse continued to shine, drifting away like a dying star. Silence and escape for long seconds, the ship floated quietly. Through the viewing screen, they watched the pirate ship scatter in panic, moving away from the supposed explosion. 2 disappeared into hyperspace. The last one lingered a moment longer, then retreated as well. When the radar finally cleared, everyone exhaled at once. Ryan let out a tired laugh. And that's how humans handle pirates, Lyra clapped once. I misjudged your species, Commander, Sira giggled. He tricked them with broken air machines. Lyra placed her hand on his shoulder. You saved our lives twice, once with courage and now with cunning. Ryan shrugged modestly. Guess we got lucky, Lyra shook her head. No, we got human. After the battle, the damage was minor, but the crew was shaken. Ryan supervised all repairs personally, making sure no pirate trackers remained. The sisters stayed beside him, helping without being asked. Later, in the quiet observation lounge, they finally had time to rest. The stars outside looked calm again. Lyra leaned back in her seat. I never imagined we'd fight pirates. Welcome to human travel, Ryan said with a grin. Sira looked at him curiously. Are all humans like you? Always ready to risk themselves for others? Ryan thought a moment. Maybe not all, but most of us try. We learned early that survival means helping each other. Lyra watched him carefully. You treat us as equals now. You give orders and we obey. That's rare, he smiled. When danger comes, rank doesn't matter, only teamwork. Her expression softened. That is something even our empire forgets. Gratitude from the royal sisters. 2 days later, Aurora's grace reached Earth's orbit. The blue planet filled the windows like a living jewel. As the ship prepared to dock, the royal sisters met Ryan in the central hall. They wore new, simple travel suits instead of heavy gowns. Lyra spoke first. Commander Cole, the Empress will hear of your courage. Ryan straightened his jacket. Thank you, Your Highness, but I was only doing my job. Lyra laughed softly. You humans always hide pride behind duty. Sira stepped forward, holding something in her hands. A small crystal star that glowed faintly. This is from our world, she said. When it shines, it means someone has earned the light of Andralis. We want you to have it. Ryan looked stunned. I can't accept royal artifacts. Lyra shook her head. You already have. You've changed how our empire will see your species. He hesitated, then took the star gently. I'll keep it safe. The sisters bowed together, a rare sight for royalty. Arrival on Earth. As the ship docked at the Earth spaceport, reporters and diplomats waited to greet the Andralian royals. Cameras flashed, capturing the moment of peace between worlds. Lyra and her sisters walked down the ramp with Ryan standing beside them. One journalist whispered, "That's the human who saved them." The sisters heard it and exchanged knowing smiles. When they reached the welcoming floor, Earth Commander General saluted Ryan. "You did well, soldier. You brought them home." Ryan replied modestly, "With their help, sir." Lyra stepped forward and added, loud enough for everyone to hear, "This man is more than a soldier. He is proof that humanity deserves friendship with Andralis." Applause filled the hall. Ryan felt slightly embarrassed but also proud. Farewell before departure. That evening, before the royal ship departed again, Ryan went to the dock to say goodbye. The sisters were waiting wearing travel robes,